Okay, so in this first video, I'm pretty much just going to go over with you pointers from head to toe, things that I've learned along the way. This is just for basic inversions, handstand. So some stuff will only apply to handstand, forearm stand, or headstand. So there's just some general rules of advice for going upside down. And starting at the top of my head, I'm going to go with hair, because I didn't realize for a little bit when I was really getting into handstands a few years ago that sometimes I would be practicing and have my hair down or have my long ponytail going down. So for those of you with long hair, definitely have it tied up in a bun or something that's not going to be in your field of vision, because something so seemingly innocuous is actually really, I couldn't keep my balance for more than 5 seconds. So just something to be mindful of. That one took me a little while to figure out why I was having so much trouble, and it's the hair. So first off, have your hair tied up if you have long hair. Secondly, your eyeballs. And this one's really important. If I can have you take away one piece of advice from this video, it will be keep your eyeballs still. When you're practicing in a handstand or yoga practice in general, your drishti or your gaze is really important, because this is keeping your attention super focused. If your eyeballs, when you're in handstand especially, or any other inversion, are moving around even slightly, then your body's going to be moving. It's like where attention goes, energy flows. So if your attention, your eyeballs are moving around, then you're going to be moving around, you're going to fall off balance. So really try and keep your your eyeballs steady and still, and this is really going to help your balance. Almost like you're seeing the tip of your nose, like you're so zoned out on one spot on the floor, and that's really important. So yeah, eyeballs super steady and still. On that one, you'll see how that really helps you. And then moving down the body, smile. It sounds silly and it sounds cheesy. I'm fully aware of that. But something about inversions are supposed to be playful and fun. So something about having this little playful grin, or at least like a serene expression on your face, really does make you feel lighter in your body and makes you feel not so scared. It's not triggering that flight or fight response where you're like balled up and grimacing, tightening, and that's going to make you just want to fall out of the pose, flight, come out of the pose. So I've genuinely noticed that when I change my perspective and the expression in my face to something that's a little bit more lovely, and sometimes that's just a little smile, it literally makes me feel lighter. And I've noticed a really big improvement in balance just from balancing, smile, all of a sudden you're balancing a little bit better. So try that one out. It's a real thing, I promise. And keep your body really light and playful when you're doing these inversions. Next is going to be working down shoulders. Actually, neck. So neck kind of goes along with the gazing point. So when you're looking down, something that we tend to do, something I'm still working on, is when you're in the handstand, you want to like really look forward. And that creates this arch in your spine, and then you get that banana-ing of your back. So really you want to try to gaze down right between your hands instead of in front of your hands, because you want your neck to eventually be able to just look through your hands. That's eventually where we're going. So instead of starting your practice looking out, just try and look down between your hands. Something to just keep and be mindful of, because you might not even notice that you're doing it. It feels really natural to want to look forward. So just keep that in mind. For your neck, look a little bit more down in between your hands, and you're going to have that straighter spine to be working with. And now moving down to shoulders. So shoulders are really connected to your hands and wrists, and where you set up your hands is just going to completely dictate how your shoulders are carrying weight when you're upside down. And it's really important because we want your hands far enough apart, not super far, not close together where they're between shoulder width distance, just like shoulder width, maybe like an inch further, a tiny little bit. And we want your hands externally rotated ever so slightly. I'm going to go way more into that in the pincha, forearm stand, and handstand video, because the other thing I could say, eyes, fingers are the other main thing. If you have your fingers spread out wide and planted that tiny, tiny external rotation, it's going to set your shoulders up and give you a really stable foundation to work from. And so, yeah, going on to hands from shoulders. Hands are super important. Like I said, eyeballs and hands. And later in the videos, we'll have some close-ups on some hand kind of exercises that you can do to really get you to feel into your fingertips and really feel what it's like to have that slight external rotation, where you want your index fingers always at 11s. So just straight up and down. Sometimes you want to look at your middle fingers and you end up slightly internally rotating, but we really want your index fingers to either be up or slightly out. We'll go more into that later, but just know starting out that you're really going to want your hands slightly externally rotated and fingertips as wide apart as you can. Suction cup your hands down. Yeah. And then moving down to the rest of your body, for your core and legs, all I want to say on that is to make sure to keep them engaged. It's like when you're in a tree pose, you want to engage this standing leg and engage your core, because that's going to help you lift up and become lighter, make your tree trunk nice and strong. If you're just kind of wiggly, wobbly, you're not going to stay up in your tree pose. So just like as if we were balancing standing up, engaging everything to pull up, we want to engage your belly, engage your legs when you're going up in handstand. I used to think that it was just gymnasts and fancy yogis who wanted their pose or their handstand to look more aesthetically pleasing. And I just thought it was a vanity thing. And I didn't realize until I really started pointing my toes that no, it's not just to look pretty. It's actually engaging literally your whole leg. And so in yoga, we're trying to bring consciousness to all these different parts of our body. So a lot of times you'll see people doing handstand and they'll just kick up and their legs are a little bit wobbly. They're just starting to balance and the toes aren't pointed. They're not engaging their feet at all. So you're just forgetting about this entire part of your body, which is the top of your pose and handstand. So we're really focusing on the foundation, strong foundation. And then by pointing your toes, you're lifting your whole body up, literally becoming lighter. Think about it as if you weren't engaging any of your muscles, like it's dead weight. It's really hard when you try to pick somebody up when they're not engaging at all. It's literally dead weight. They're not engaging. It's heavy. So when we're engaging our legs, and by engaging your toes, you're guaranteeing that you're engaging the whole leg from tip to top. And that nothing is dead weight. Therefore, you're becoming literally lighter, lifting yourself up from the highest point and making sure that you're engaging your entire leg. So if I can leave you with anything from this video, have it be wide fingertips, press them into the mat, steady your gaze, that meditative focus that handstands can really bring about once you tap into it, and then your toes, because they're going to engage your entire leg and remind you to keep pulling up and pulling up towards the sky. I hope that these tips were helpful to you, and please watch the next 3 videos. Going to be headstand, lots of advice there, moving into forearm stand the next week, and then finally handstand, and giving you some really cool little bits of wisdom that are going to build on each other. Let me know what you think, and if you have any other questions, I would love to answer them below. And please remember to like and subscribe to my channel to catch the next 3 videos. All right, thanks so much, yogis. Sending you love.